Watching Piers Morgan interview Judith Baker, who, so far as I know, is no relation to Clem Baker, but it should be looked into. Clem, who hammered together the shack, it was used for retro porn and child trafficking in Pittsburgh, with working papers from the FBI issued to the starlet doing the trafficking. You can see how mutilated I am from torture they subjected to 50 years ago. Anyway, listening to Piers Morgan interview Judith Baker was somewhat desperately sad experience. Sad. I've heard other people say that Piers Morgan makes them sad. What was sad about it? Well, one thing, he played pseudo-rational. It was weird to see him. I'll show you a picture of the girl I like. It was weird to see him playing the role of verification person. Yin Yu, she goes by. You could find her if you look up one Yin Yu. 1236, I guess. Pierre Morgan, no, I'm not going to pursue it. I have other problems. Pierre Morgan put himself in the rationalist perspective. Can you give us a picture of you with Lee Oswald? He said, because we can't prove that you knew him. And she went about corroborating that there were many people who saw them together, and the logic showed that they knew each other very well. Because Pierre Morgan is nothing but a crank when it comes to those things. If somebody were to apply the same credibility standard to him, he would wither. I'll give you an example. The reason why Pierre Morgan never says, can Crary be proven to be having been waved to by Ronald Reagan the night before Hinckley shot Brady, which is all I believe happened. I don't think Reagan was really shot. He pulled a Van Gogh like Donald Trump did. And of course, Pierre's knows anything that corroborates my having been there plays into the hands of anybody who is looking for the truth about John Lennon's horrifying Houdini in the AIDS attack. So he doesn't say anything about it, because the best he'd be able to do is be asked the question, can you disprove it? And he knows they can't disprove it. The only thing that they can do is prove it. They've all seen the film made by the news media that night, and there's me, and there's Reagan waving at me. So he can't even mention it. He doesn't dare. Lennon, dropped. He was the scourge of the peace movement. Don't be fooled. People who went to college and got themselves into the aristocracy of political government, most of whom are gone now, went to college, and that's why they weren't subject to the draft. He gave them drugs and told them to drop out and be used for sex. And so they were worse than draft bait. They were battered, petrified, terrorized, demoralized, and dragged off by the drag force. He was responsible for the worst tragedies of all. He was always very cutting. He was never a man of the people. He said, I have to die to become a man of the people. That was in the play, that they would make him the man of the people after they faked his death. He said things like, I won't come to America until I'm number one. I won't, I won't, I won't. And so if looks could kill, it would have been JFK instead of them. So they got rid of JFK, and then they came. Now we're number one. They get on Petticoat Junction. We're the most popular thing in America, they said about them on Petticoat Junction. He says the British Army had just won the war, so there was no such thing as the Lend-Lease program. As if Russia had nothing to do with it. If the United States did not exist. He was always saying that stuff about me. He called me his monkey. Everybody got something to have to me, my monkey. He was a criminal. People say, what's your favorite Beatles song? They all suck. But they get into these intimacies. Talking Heads, one of them was a neighbor. The gang that pulled the Shulman heists and tortured me and so on. Framed me for armed robbery and all that other idiotic Pennsylvania J. Shapiro libels. Talking had some called something Stop Making Sense. Well, it's obvious why they want people to stop making sense. Even when it came out, I wondered how anybody could think that was neat. But they say, oh, we make higher orders of sense. Oh, do you? We're with Ayn Rand because George Bush drew a line in the sand about Leslie's Catoosie. Stop making sense is Ayn Rand. And Leslie, they don't dare tell a word of truth about her. She used to chant, she was Israeli. So why wouldn't she go out and chant, gonna rape, kill, pillage, burn, and eat babies? Why wouldn't she? They said she was wholly innocent to protect the people who they say killed John Lennon. Stop making sense. Stop making sense. It'd be a laugh if it wasn't so crazy. And they had this spiritual medium going with George Will and stuff. George Will wrote Soulcraft to Statecraft. They were saying, oh, suicide is the celestial ultimatum. And they had Foucault and Straub committing suicide like Ambush now. Why shouldn't they start taking souvenirs to hell? You know, they're going and blowing the fire. When COVID came out, they told people to social distance. That's, of course, what they should have done during the AIDS attack. Instead, they scared everybody into getting even more close in protest. They called it one size fits all. Excuse me. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. In other words, Lenin is the man of the people. You will all die, and it will be noble. We will Bushnell you. Be an Oscar Mayer wiener. Ken Crimson got them to drink the Kool-Aid. And people like Chris Hedges were saying, oh, you're trying to steal the soul of John Lennon. What was I trying? I wasn't trying to steal my soul of no John Lennon. God, make me get a life. I want nothing to do with that buzzer. And I never did. They're like, oh, and the Crow Hagrid Ghost or his widow gets to play internal peep show of someone who she kidnapped and tortured as a child and put through a horrible crime ordeal, like a Manson ordeal. And they called it Mancine. That's how brazen they were. Rosa comes on to me, you know, they say you should love King Crimson your whole heart. Penis Gabriel loves you, man. And the girl comes on to me and says she wants to get married, so I fall in love with her. Is that against the law? What did she turn out to be doing? Drilling for a neuroplasm that Attica State Prison implanted when I was a little boy. How do you like that? That's what she was really doing. There's some distance between what she said she was doing and what she was really doing. Real distance. And where is she now? She's at Oxford, sitting pretty with the sandbaggers. The sandbaggers lied about everything. They let Gail Burston get away. They let John Schulman get away. They let Leslie Katz get away. They let Crowhag Reguster get away. And they said it was a higher order of spirituality, so stop making sense. They're promoting the people who they claim killed John Lennon. Stop making sense. And what happens is they blast the supernova rave, they blast Arab Spring, they blast Gaza, and then they slap 5 at the United Arab Emirates, the pipeline to Odessa. It's leapfrog jazz. Behind the scenes, plutocrats getting lots of money. And they fire the whole Yankee civil service. They're going to fire the National Guard. And they lose the keys to the nuclear weapons. Who's got them? Oh, I'm in love with Kim. I left him in the motel in Pyongyang, says Donald Trump, too, or something. Patel Cash. And the Crowhag Reguster says, you don't need JFK. We zapped him right between the eyes. Zap. All the children say. But it's morning. We put the white on the cover, white of mourning, and released it November 22nd, 1968. All the children sing is morning. Don't laugh. Virginity proves rape. And you can put the whole thing together visually. A Japanese man followed around Jack Ruby in the Dallas Police Department. Why were either of them in the basement of the Dallas Police Department? You can follow the whole thing visually. They say there's a Kennedy assassination mystery. There isn't a Kennedy assassination mystery. The whole thing is perfectly clear what happened. The Axis powers got revenge and stole the keys and Oz was walled. The Wizard of Oz was croaked and the city of Oz was walled. A huge wall. Man, what a fort. It's a fort. It's like the Kremlin. You get these people. They operate through things like wire club and cyber tampering. And they're Godfather tamperings. They threaten, they kill bystanders. They make good on threats all the time. They publicly broadcast advance notice of shooting up Las Vegas. And you know that it's syndicated because it comes in prompts from your local DSHS, encrypted prompts. So I mean, they're not making America great. They're making it back in the days of Valentine's Day massacre stuff, Al Capone gangman killings and stuff. I don't see that as making America even remotely great. But it's syndicated. Biden, that weasel, that horrifying weasel, was in on all of it. They saved $200 billion for Social Security. I mean, sure, they sent us some blood money. They sent us some divvies. They call them stimulus checks. They saved $200 million by kicking out our grannies with COVID-19. Biden was a weasel. Didn't anybody else see what he did to those poor children of Gaza? Anybody? He might as well have walked into a playground with a submachine gun and started wiping them out. That's what he let the Israelis do. They were playing with beach balls on the beach. They were playing football on the beach. And the Israelis went in and machine gunned them, strafed them. What kind of weasel was Joe Biden? A weasel! Don't say he was anything else. And that Kamala Harris crowd was in on the whole fandango. They knew about Mount Desert Island. They knew about Bush's idiotic line in the sand saying virginity proves rape. Proven by the stripe on John Lennon's chin and how I won the war. On his chinny chin chin. The rape of Chinny proves the theory. Ask Pierre Elliott to verify that she was raped. He's not going to. He can't disprove it, so he doesn't allow the question.